Good evening, everybody. This week was quite a big week. Michelle's petition was finally debated in Parliament, and that was long awaited. And Michelle got to be present right there. Gideon Amos is one of the people who spoke, and there's an article quoting his words. But Michelle, tell us a little bit about Monday and how that was for you.
It was very clear from the voices in the room that meeting your MP works, because the voices that actually struck home all had that personal detail from having met constituents. I think it showed up that the government is not strong in its conviction on the bill. So at the end, there were still things left for the minister to write to people for. And it was very scripted. Olivia didn't seem to actually engage in the points that had been brought up. And there were some very, really, really strong points brought up.
She read the script very well, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, she's really new, though.
No, she lost her page and read it twice at one point, so she didn't even read the script very well.
Isn't she's pretty new, though, isn't she? So she's been thrown into this, and in some ways, I kind of felt sorry for her, because isn't early years actually her responsibility, not this? And she was kind of thrust into this like the sacrificial lamb, I thought. So, but we'll see. At least she did it with humour. She had a good humorous attitude with her.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is that whole script reading that we see all the time coming from Labour, all the Labour ministers all the time. But anyway, so tell us some of your thoughts on the debate. We know they don't vote on it.
Yeah. I think it showed that MPs are listening, which is important when we get to later stages.
Yeah.
Particularly because obviously the next stage we're expecting is the House of Lords report stage, where some amendments will be tabled. And you'll have noticed, if you watch the debate, the amount of times Munira went to Cameron and said, in the other place, you can agree some amendments, So they were very much sort of making the point to Labour that we're still at a point where you could make this bill better. Yeah, and obviously, that will be crucial, depending on what the amendments are, for what the bill actually shapes out to be in the end. So they were also making clear it's like, there's still time.
Yes.
It will also be crucial because then after amendments are made, it goes to ping pong stage. And that's when MPs need to decide if they also agree those amendments. So the fact that some are listening is good. The other key thing to remember, it's a debate. Where were all the voices in that room defending this bill? Where are all those voices who felt passionately, actually, no, we need to keep this bill? They weren't there.
No.
There was the ones from Labour that we expected, but they weren't there on the other side. Yeah. Which, if the bill was as strong as they like to make out, there would have been voices there absolutely defending it, saying, this is balmy. Why would anyone want it withdrawn? Those voices weren't there. And even the ones that were supposed to be supporting the bill side were not necessarily supporting the bill in its entirety. Yeah. They were accepting that some bits needed nuance.
Yes.
And we got the interesting bit, and I think we do need to maybe push on getting it in the face of the bill. So Liam brought up again about, well, what about sports clubs? What about scouts? What about those things? And the minister did sort of say, I think we've already established they're not going to be included. But that's not in the face of the bill at the moment. They keep saying regulations will remove them. Well, if we get a different government in place, they may decide, because if it's in secondary legislation, they may decide, well, no, actually, we do want to include all that. So we need that change in the bill. And I think we maybe need to, all of us, be writing to MPs and pushing them to ask the ministers why they won't make that change in the bill.
Yeah.
If they're going to say in both houses, oh, no, we don't mean that, well, fine. Make it so the bill doesn't say that you need it, because at the moment, the bill includes it. I think that was quite an important point to be sort of captured again. And they were quite clear. It's like, well, okay, but if you take those bits out, will the education look suitable? Because now I don't have to report on everything. Where are you making your decisions? Because obviously they're changing the criteria, because at the moment they're not monitoring and assessing, because that's not their role. Their role is to step in if it appears the child isn't receiving a suitable education.
Yeah.
Whereas this completely flips it the other way.
Yeah.
But it was very, very, very telling, the lack of that. And I know you couldn't hear it on the live stream, But at the point the MP said that nothing to fear line, the public gallery burst into laughter, and the guy behind me even heckled. I know you couldn't see that on the live stream, but if you'd been in the room, literally, it's the point where the lot of us just laughed. It's like, really? It's like,
I mean, is that really a line you want to be, you know, when you know who's used that line in the past? Is that really something you want to be bandying about? I think what was very clear when you could hear the arguments being put forward, that they were our arguments. They were, you know,
Absolutely.
we know that people from the action group and so on have gone and made those points to the MPs, and we're hearing it coming out, and that's very encouraging. And I also like the way they were kind of helpful, trying to be helpful to the government in sort of making suggestions, you know, and trying to just get them to consider and engage, which was really good. So what can we do with this debate? Because as I said, you know, there's no like vote on it. There's not like a winner or not a winner, you know, loser, whatever. But there's the point of this debate is what?
Well, one of it is awareness, and one of it is for later stages. It's also for then getting other MPs to listen. So actually, it was quite interesting looking at a discussion in the action group. So the MP that came in who said, "I'm really here just to learn," but didn't the GMC say we shouldn't use the NHS number? Now, many constituents had written to him, and they had heard nothing back. They were in shock. He turned up because he hadn't replied to any of them, including the constituent he quoted, hadn't had a reply back. So the important bit here is, even if they're not replying, sometimes they're listening. And I think at the moment we need to keep those engagements. So if your MP did speak up, write to them now and say, thank you very much for listening. Can we meet? Let's get more of those arguments going, because more of those conversations in the back room, the more cracks that happen, the more chance the House of Lords will get amendments through. Because if people are thinking, oh, that's not good, they're more likely to accept it. The other side is, take the MPs who said it the right way, take the clips, send them to your MP if your MP refuses to listen, and just sort of say, well, can you have a conversation with this MP? We had cross-party MPs in there. So find the MP that spoke to the issues that matter, who is also the same party as your MP, and just ask your MP, can you just go and have a conversation with them, please? If you won't listen to me, can you go and chat to them? Because they obviously have understood. And the other bit is try and amplify their voices, because if we can get it into the media. So Gideon's got pretty much the same story, but it had 4 different headlines that didn't actually match the story in there. And that was some very interesting statistics there, because obviously he did the safeguarding ones that showed the complete difference between home ed children and school children and the conversion rate to child protection plans.
Yeah, really good points.
With the full data there given very clearly, which sort of is like, stop this safeguarding myth, stop stigmatizing, stop criminalizing. So all those really key points. And again, you can cut those sound bites out and use them for other purposes. Use them to lobby groups as well. So you can lobby organizations that you're thinking, well, actually, they should align with us. So all of these things are things you can use this debate for. You can use it for lobbying purposes as well.
Well, we have the Record 9 Hansard, so we can go back and pull out quotes and things like that as well, can't we? Yeah. So very, very helpful. So off the back of this, we also have now had some questions to the Minister, to Bridget Phillipson. So we've got Josh McAllister, and we had some from Spell Ribeiro Addy, and we've also had the other ones. There's some other questions as well. Is it also Josh McAllister, or is it someone else? We know some people have been very busy. Some of these MPs have been busy beavers, sending lots of questions, all answered to some degree of not dissatisfaction, I would say. You know, they don't really.
This one is really key. This one is really key, because look at the dates they're looking at. 2019. Now, anyone on this call, go and look at just the first paragraph, the first bit about what was the outcome with regards to children not in school. I rechecked today because I was like, I'm sure that was 75% disagreed. So in this thing they're looking at, this public consultation, which apparently is helping them understand, 75% disagreed with the children not in school register. So it seems strange that that's what they're pointing us to show that they are listening, and
Yeah.
that there was a consultation open for everyone to follow. But by pointing to one where they've literally ignored the results, sort of bearing in mind this is about asking about understanding educational pedagogy, sort of shows what they actually view. Because if
Well,
they literally
yeah.
went into something where everyone disagreed, did they actually listen to anything that anyone said in it?
Yeah, I mean, we could actually write to when people could write to him and say, I'm so glad you raised that. Are you aware of how many people expressed that they were against these measures in that consultation? So that could be a good thing to do, or to ask your MP to do to raise that. Is Belle Ribeiro Addy, is she your MP, Michelle?
No, my
Yeah.
MP's that one who stood up to the Bromsgrove MP and said it didn't warrant an answer when he was bringing up about the authoritarianism. That's my MP. So no, she's not my MP.
Yes. But
But I
she might be.
Can
I
we
know
just
be a
note
good one,
from
yeah.
the constituents she wanted to attend, but unfortunately she was on the Home Affairs Committee.
Yeah.
So she couldn't physically attend because they were on a site visit, I think, in France.
Yeah, that's all right.
So therefore
allowed.
she's writing her questions in because she
Oh.
couldn't raise them in the debate herself.
Yeah, I want to recognise Alison's hand there.
Thank you. Couldn't get a word in edgeways there. We've all got so much to say. No, I think the thing to note is that the person who asked those two really good questions is a Labour MP.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think, and a London Labour MP at that. And they are the hardest nuts to crack in my experience. So the London Labour MPs. So it's absolutely brilliant that she's clearly been looking at the issue and thinking about the issue deeply. So, and that is the result of people going to see her and people talking to her.
Yeah,
Cannot
absolutely.
emphasize enough how important that is.
Yes. So we had a bunch of other questions as well. Were there any that stood out for you, Michelle? Have you had a chance to look at these questions?
Yeah, I think the thing people need to be careful of is they need to learn government wording. So where they just say have engaged closely with, that's not the same as saying we've actually listened to, or we're following their advice, or we're following their recommendations. So when they use this and have engaged, that quite often can indicate the opposite.
Yeah.
Because they haven't pointed to a specific report. Because if they'd said we've spoken to, and if you look at this report, this supports our position, that would be very different. Whereas nothing in there beyond the fact they've engaged, which they'd always have to engage with various people, actually says that they had support from these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was a box ticking exercise.
Yeah, understand MP speak.
Yeah.
And I think also it has to be noted that they've engaged with these people. If they were sensible, there is absolutely no way whatsoever that nothing would get changed. They're so belligerent about the wording of the bill. They're so stuck with what they've got. They're not prepared. The NSPCC might have said all sorts of things where they said, oh, no, that's not very good. But they've not changed a thing. I'm absolutely convinced that even the people that they're talking about, that they've engaged with, have disagreed with some aspects of the bill or asked for changes.
Yes. Well, we've had some questions on the impact assessments, and this one is on the data protection principles and so on, which to me they haven't answered to our satisfaction yet. It's just ducking and diving, and not actually really confronting the potential issues. Yeah. There was another guy that was asking lots of questions. Yeah, James McMurdoch. So he's put, so here's an example: to ask the Secretary of State for Education whether the government will make an assessment of the potential merits of pausing the information of the new clause 4 of the children's wellbeing in schools will until comprehensive public consultation and impact assessments are being completed. And what is the answer? They've already done an impact assessment. It's the one they did themselves on their own bill.
But also it's very interesting because we know for a fact that we've already had the answer that clause 4 they haven't included in their data protection impact assessment, that may or may not exist depending which FOI got responded to, because in some it doesn't exist, in some it exists in draft form, in some they didn't have to consider certain parts of it because that can be looked at regulations. And I think we had a few other questions. So depending on which answer you look at and which minister
Yeah.
gave it and which person answered the FOI, the answer seems very different. And here, he's not looking at data protection impact assessments going, oh, well, it's all right. The ECHR impact assessment is available here. But that misses the whole point about they asked about consultation on it. The ECHR isn't a consultation document. It's a document produced as part of the bill.
And
it's not a document where you consult with it.
Yeah, they don't seem to think they need one if the department's not the processor of the personal data. I think it should still, because the department is the one that will do stuff ultimately with it.
Well, it's that the department is putting this extra duty on local authorities.
Yeah.
So they should ensure local authorities have in place the relevant systems to keep our data safe. And as Gideon Amos said, anyone who thinks public authorities are good with data are probably living on the moon. I think it was something along those lines he said in the debate.
We've got so many headlines, and that's another thing that you can always also share with MPs, is send them all these articles about data breaches and data leaks and that kind of thing as well, because the track record is not good.
I think we need to remember this last line in this one. The department will only proceed when we're confident in the benefits, cost, security and governance. I think we need to maybe get our MPs drilling down into what do they mean by that? Because if they've not got the DPI ready, apparently it's not required as it stands, then how can they be confident of all those things if it's not required to do a DPIA? I think we need to get MPs still chasing this point from every angle.
Yes. Maybe we need a new petition on that one. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with more petitions, It just shows the strength of opposition.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have any new amendments this week, Michelle? Are you aware of any? I haven't had a chance to look, to be honest, myself.
I've not had a chance this week to look.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything pertaining specifically to home education. There was more the week before. But if you are interested in wanting to go and have a look, that there are some more you can go and see.
And we will sort of start encouraging you as soon as the Christmas holidays are over to start contacting peers about appropriate amendments that you could suggest. But let's let them enjoy Christmas, because report stage is definitely not happening this side of Christmas. Let's let them have Christmas, and then we can get onto it.
Yeah. Okay, great. We are planning a very, very big protest in London, 17th of January. It's a Saturday. Be there or be square, as they say. If you can't be there, donate some money towards it so that we can get a professional stage and a sound system and all of that. So, Michelle, how are things going towards?
I'm over the moon, because today we've reached the threshold so I can put the deposit down on the stage. Just need a few more donations so we can finish paying for the stage. But we've got enough now that the deposit can be put down to lock in the professional stage, which is fantastic, because we had a few significant donations today, and all those little donations add up. And it is amazing to see that we are now well and truly towards
£1,615 according to this one. So that's done, everybody that has donated. Thank you so much. And we've got some really good big donations there too, which just blow my mind. But you just remember, you don't need to give big donations. You can give what you can, and if you can't, you can't. Don't stress about it. It is December, it is Christmas, so please don't put yourself into sort of difficult financial situation if you can't afford. But if you are able to, please, particularly if you can't be there and you would have spent money coming and you want to be somehow represented, you can help a lot with this. This is really because we want to make this protest very big and very powerful. You can also help us by making sure you share about this protest in all your groups and on your Facebook or your whatever different social media you're on. Please share and encourage people to come and attend in London.
And the police have confirmed that we'll be having the stage on the bus lane at Richmond Terrace at Whitehall, so just behind Scotland Yards. We're going to have the stage on the bus lane because it's sort of a bit big to tuck out the way.
And we really, really need a lot of people. And this is not just about home education. This is open to fed up school teachers or who are protesting against the school fines. If you are concerned about what's happening with SEND, you can come along and be represented. If you are unhappy with the attendance goals that they keep, ridiculous attendance goals they keep setting for children, school uniforms, free breakfasts, whatever, come along.
The
This
kinship
is-
care, because obviously
yes,
they're setting up a kinship care local offer, and we all know how well the Send local offer is. So
yeah,
is it actually going to be particularly helpful? If you're in
Yeah.
the right postcode, maybe, but
Yeah.
for most, probably not.
Yeah, so please, we do need bodies, and as many as possible. So do try and at least bring a couple of people with you, travel together, make a day of it. Make sure you have a backup plan in terms of transport, because we know things can go wrong. So look at different options. If it looks like there's going to be disruptions on the transport as well, dress up nice and warm, bring your sandwiches, and come for a really good, fun time.
And if you want to find a group of you, there's no harm in putting a call out on either the page or in one of the groups and just sort of say, I'm coming down from this area. Can we do a car share? Or
Yeah.
can we? Because if you have more than, I think it's 10 in a group, you can get the group discount for booking train tickets. So
Oh.
there's no harm in sort of doing that shout out and then trying to get a big group of you together to
Yes.
come and have a fun day out.
Yeah, and it is a lot of fun. It really is, and it does something for you to get out there and speak out against something that you feel passionately about. You also get the opportunity sometimes to educate members of the public who are walking by, and to tell them to then further raise awareness. And there will be things we'll be handing out to people as well. So just and plan, like in terms of your travel planning, plan to get there a bit earlier, just in case again, once that there are travel disruptions. Try and think of all of those eventualities so that nothing ruins the day, and you get there and you're represented there. I'm excited
And
to see
we'll
you all
also
there.
be looking for relay stops for Alison, because Alison hopefully will be bringing the
The little
Operation
car.
Canary car down, which obviously can
Yes.
only, because it's electric, can only manage so many miles before it needs to stop. So
Yeah.
we will, when we get nearer the time, be doing a shout out for places that can let her have a cuppa while waiting for it to charge.
Yeah.
Or stay overnight. I
Yeah.
predict it's going to actually take me 2 to 3 days to get down there.
That's electric
Because
for you.
it will only do 40 miles if you're driving at 50 miles an hour. It will only do 40 miles before it needs
gosh.
charging.
Yeah, it's gone
Yeah.
down a bit. It was doing more at one point, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's never done more. It's never done more.
Oh,
You
dear.
charge it up and
Hmm.
it says, oh, you've got 68 miles, and you flipping well haven't.
Okay.
Especially in the
Well,
cold.
so think of
Mhm.
Alison in the cold, and see if you can help her make her way down to London in the Stop the Schools Bill car. Up next, we would like to just remind you that the Broken Voices Project, which is a book that will be created with your story, your poem, your picture, a message about something that matters or has impacted you. This is about children. Maybe you were a child or a child now. It doesn't matter. If you've got a story about how you've been broken by the system, broken by the way you've been treated, whether you had a child with special needs or what have your experiences been, you can add your story, and it's going to be come out in a book form. I see there's somebody said on WhatsApp that you're welcome to stay somewhere, Alison. That was
Yeah,
quite funny.
saw that.
Yes, in Hilton, Derbyshire. So yep.
So let me just say that the route I would like to do, I would like to make a thing of this journey, because we're going into a lot of different places. The car's already travelled up the west of the country. It would be really nice if I could maybe go and start in Graham Stewart's constituency in Beverley, go across the Humber Bridge and go down through Lincolnshire, maybe go to Nottingham, Leicester, places like that. Maybe have some photo opportunities on the way where groups of home educators can come out and stand in solidarity with us.
Okay, great.
That would be great.
I think you should create a map or something, Alice, and get a post out there with what you'd like to do, and then let's see what comes of that. So look out for that post from Alison if you're willing to volunteer to help and to offer support along the way. So just back to Broken Voices. This is the last week. I think, what is the deadline for that?
5th of December. And I know last time I checked in with them, I think they had 100 pages worth. So Alice would like a few more. a few
Yes.
more entries because she doesn't want a
Yes.
slim book. She wants a substantial book.
Exactly.
for
Well, that's
people.
the thing, is we want to make impact. And for impact, you need lots. So please, if you've got a story to share, you've got the weekend, get something in to Alice.
Just a reminder, you don't have to be a child to contribute to the
Mm.
book. It can be something that's happened to you in your recent childhood, for example.
Yeah.
So we're not just looking for children to contribute their voices. It's people who were,
If
you
you've
know,
got
not-
something to say about the system, from
Yeah.
from let's say, maybe I don't want to put a time limit on it, and I don't think there's a time limit on it, but we want to just talk. I'm not going to say put any limit on it. Just say, if you've been a victim of the system and you feel like you have a voice, you have been, it almost, maybe I hopefully didn't break you completely, but it caused some hurt and damage to you. Let's get those stories, because they are very, very, very effective. People read those, it's going to have impact. So it might also help you as well to get it out there and actually speak it out. So go for it, and we will make sure that you can see this on the action group to add to that. Okay, this is about a meeting that anyone can join, anyone who wants to come along and have their say or contribute ideas and thoughts, support, whatever. Tell us about that.
Yep. So the next one is this Monday the 8th at 8 p.m. It's on Zoom. And it's so some people have been doing really, really good action in their local area, but it's to sort of feed that back, to share, to get ideas from others, because sometimes people are sort of feel quite isolated because they feel like they're talking into the abyss and no one's listening. So it's a good way to sort of also connect and discover that others are doing the same in their areas. They're also lobbying their MPs, doing information points, maybe doing Q&As, maybe creating specific groups and things like that. So it's all about that connection, being aware of what local action is happening, supporting people with local action. If you're sort of like, you've reached a point where you're like, well, we've got it this far, we're not quite sure if we go this way or this way, to just have that opportunity to sort of sound it out with other people, have a sounding board. So it's a meeting really for whoever comes, to just sort of all support each other and know what each other's doing and help each other to be able to do what they're doing on a bigger scale.
Thanks, Michelle. So please, if you just need to sign up for, but it's quick and easy, and you can literally sign up on the night as well. We will need to make sure that that is also bumped up on the action group so people can find that. Then we have this article in Schools Week, which is very interesting. And Michelle, you seem to know a bit more about that. I'm going back to you again.
Well, bearing in mind this white paper that, they haven't published because they've now delayed it, because all of a sudden they thought, oh, do you know what? Maybe we should listen to what people think. Although some people have attended the initial listening event and they didn't feel it involved any listening at all. They felt it was a conversation between the people presenting, and there was this, and I've been on these sort of things before, where you really don't feel your voice counts. They have the upvoting system where everyone can write all their questions in, but it's only the ones that get the most votes, which means you have to see the question, spot a question that you actually want answered, and keep upvoting it and getting other people to like it to get it answered. So although people submitted some amazing questions that need answers, they never got upvoted to the top. And again, if you're a minority group, that means you're less likely to get your voice heard, because the issue you have probably won't be necessarily be the same as many others on the call. So it definitely felt, to people who attended it, from the different feedbacks I've seen, and I'm booked to go on one of the ones that's titled Fairness. So they've also split it across their principles, which again, if they're actually listening, why have they already decided those principles? And they keep adding extra dates in, because obviously they didn't realize people are interested. But certainly the people who've been so far have not felt it's a listening exercise at all. They've felt it is a tick box exercise that does not give you even an opportunity to try and get your voice heard.
Well, this is what we've seen often, though, is that they want to give the illusion that they're listening, so they hold these things, but actually they've already made their plans. They're not really. It's like that consultation in 2019 we mentioned earlier. It makes no difference, really, ultimately. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't participate.
Yeah, and they've
And
also launched a consultation as
Yeah.
well, which is helpfully has lots of free text boxes in. Now, I've filled
Yes.
my one in as a parent. I've still got to do my one in as different organisational hats. My one as a parent, pretty much every text box, I just put you could try listening to parents and you could try listening to young people. Because actually, if they did that, there would be a very different scenario to what we're having now, because it tends to be people being perceive professionals gaslighting their lived experience. That
Yeah.
actually ends up with really bad outcomes. There's their
Yes.
principles.
Yes. So now they are saying they want to hear your story. So it is very important, but they've given you quite a small window. I think this consultation ends on the 14th of January. Am I right?
Yes,
so
14th of January. But then again, remember, because they're supposed to be launching it, which that's been the other bit. You've got a consultation out that finishes on the 14th of January, yet you're supposed to be publishing the white paper. Well, where's the time for you to actually analyse people's responses? Where's the time for the government to meaningfully engage in that consultation? Unless, of course, they're going to announce the white paper will be pushed further back. Now, I would welcome if they turn around and say it's going to be later. Then maybe it's not a tick box. But at the moment, the time frames, there's no way it can be anything other than a tick box.
They're supposed to be doing this roadshow stuff and having meetings all over the country. And I keep looking. I haven't looked in the last couple of days, but there's nothing in the northwest of England.
Well, actually,
and I know lots have raised that.
There are some online dates for online. So there's one on the 17th of December, one of the 6th of January, and the 14th of January. So if you go on to that, sign up to attend an online event here, it took me to another page where you can go and, I guess, book on to go. Yes, that one. So you can book on to go to one of these online conversations. But as Michelle said, sometimes the questions only come forward if people vote, or people are voting on them, right, Michelle?
Yeah, you have to click to vote
yes,
on them.
so good if
and the
you
most
know
popular
that.
questions get to the top to
Yes,
answer.
good if you know that, because then you can support one another. So if you're attending that with other people, maybe from the action group and so on, you see good questions, make sure you vote for them so that they can go to the top of the list and try and get some good questions out there to be addressed. But also the other consultation will be an online one. Am I right, Michelle?
Yes, it is. And don't be put. I know some people panic that they ask for lots of personal data. A lot of the questions are optional. So you actually can fill it in without having to put your personal details in. Because I know a few people were put off when they went on that they thought they'd have to. But a lot of them are optional. So you can fill it in an anonymous
I'm not sure where the
manner.
link is to the other consultation, but anyway, we will try and
find it and we'll make sure it's in.
Yeah. So because that found out more just took it to that other page. So yeah, but anyway, this is very, very important. If you have a child with SEND and you want to get your voice heard, please make sure that you share this also in your networks and get as many out there as possible. Okay.
And I think it's particularly important if you're home educating, not electively, but because you've been forced to, because they failed to implement your EHCP, or they told you whatever story they did about why you couldn't ever get an EHCP. Those are the stories you need to get into this consultation, because it needs to be crystal clear, particularly with the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill going through, as it is, that actually, if the local authorities have breached the law left, right, and centre, how are they the right person to then look at your education when they couldn't provide the suitable education for your child that your child deserved and you entrusted them to support you with? But unless we get those voices in the consultation, it's very hard for us to then lobby in the background to ensure that people actually get the support they're entitled to, because I don't think anyone should ever be forced into it. But I realise you're always going to do the best by your child, but you should have a genuine choice. And actually, if we could get it fixed so there is a genuine choice, or there should be support for you, because if you've been forced into it because they've failed to provide an appropriate education offer in your area, then absolutely there should be an option to get support, because you haven't made a choice to do that. Circumstance because they've failed to follow and ensure there's a local offer that you can access should not then put you at a detriment. So it's really, really, really important, if that's you, that you get those filled in and get those views on the paper.
Okay, and something I forgot to add earlier, and I'm just going to mention it, and I will try and put a post on Facebook after this, is that we do have a Christmas action, and that is to send your Christmas card to your MP. We have got some card designs that you can download and upload to, like Moonpig or Funky Pigeon or one of those, and you send them your own message. And I would say just stick to one point, one thing that you want to say. But the cards that we've designed are basically like all I want for Christmas, and it's all got to do with the children's well-being bill being torn up or satellite or cancelled, So they're a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but you could design your own as well, or you could just buy a regular card, write your message in it as well. But this is a good excuse to reach your MP, because you can send a card and be very neighborly in that way with your MP by sending them a Christmas card. If you send to nobody else this Christmas, send to your MP. And also, just I will share, so I will create a post about that, but you can also use the card templates that we've got. You can use them, the designs, as social media posts as well, if you want, with a message, which could be just a bit of fun. So don't sort of forget to be kind to your MP and wish them this Christmas with your thoughts of what you'd like to see happen to the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill. So please to get all the information that we've discussed tonight, plus more things that Kat has very diligently gone and searched out for your reading pleasure, subscribe to the Substack. So all you need to do is, there will be a link in the comments which you can click on, and you can go and subscribe. And that means that everything we've discussed, plus the video of this live, will be in your inbox Monday morning, first thing, so that you can catch up if you've missed out on anything. So it's one way to make sure you stay informed and you don't miss out on key information. So do go and subscribe. It will make your life so much easier and not reliant on social media algorithms. Anyway, I'd be interested to know also in comments if you think Friday nights are better than Sunday evenings for the live. That would be good to know. Now you can go and enjoy your weekend. Thanks from all of us for joining, and have a good weekend. Bye-bye now.